in this country are very high. Hi everyone, thank you for stopping by. My name is Satini. I recently did a video about how to relocate to Ireland as a healthcare assistant, and I had a lot of follow-up questions after I posted that video, and I wanted to answer some of the questions. The question that I really wanted to answer today was, what is life like in Ireland? I get at least 5 messages in relation to this every day. Just wanted to sit down and just have a chit chat video, just an honest video on what life is like in Ireland. This is my personal experience. If you live in Ireland and you have a different experience, that is yours, but I am telling you about my personal experience. Ireland is a relatively small country. It has a population of 5 million and it's a neighboring country to the United Kingdom. Life in Ireland is amazing, but like any other country, it has its pros and it has its cons. First thing that we're going to discuss in Ireland is addressing the elephant in the room, and that is the rent. Ireland is notoriously known for having a very high rent. So the rent charges in this country are very high. This is basically because it does have a large, over the years, it has started to have a high demand of people moving to the capital. So Dublin in particular has a very, it's like the hub of where everything is. That's where the tech giant companies are, and because of that it attracts a lot of people from the other counties. Let me explain. So this may sound very strange, but in most countries people have provinces. In Ireland you have counties. So a county is basically like a province. So people from other counties come and work in Dublin, and people from other European countries as well come and work in Dublin. And what this has caused is that the rent has risen because of this and other factors as well. It has caused the rent to rise very high. So to be honest, my husband and I, before we bought our own home, this is our own home, we were paying rent of 750 euro for a room. In US dollars, this will be around, I would say around 800 US dollars for a room, possibly less. This is because we were living in Dublin, and this was not even in the city center. This was in a small suburb just outside of the city center. It was about an hour bus ride from the city center, or 25 minutes from the city center. If you were driving. So our rent was 750 euro. We were lucky enough that it was all bills included. So including everything, our rent was standard of 750. However, this room did have its own bathroom and shower and toilet, so it had its own bathroom, and I think this made it a little bit more expensive. But if you were renting a room that didn't have this, your rent would be slightly cheaper, but not that much cheaper. I would say it would be around 600 euro for a double room. If you're renting a single room, that's a very small room that only fits a single bed, your rent would be around 450 to 500 euro if you're lucky. That's what the renting situation is like in Ireland. If you do move to Ireland, I highly suggest that you start saving for your deposit and buy your own home. That being said, homes are now extremely expensive as well. So, but I would suggest as well that if you're moving to Ireland, consider staying outside of Dublin. So consider staying in a different county like Limerick. Cork is also very expensive but still doable. But Limerick, Portlaoise, which is County Laois, Waterford, Wexford, those are still affordable areas in comparison to Dublin. Work-life balance. So I used to work in a nursing home as a healthcare assistant. I was working a 39-hour week, and I was working 3 days, 3 days, 12-hour shifts, and the next week 4 days, 12-hour shifts as well. This was fine, but when I was working night shifts, I would be exhausted. So I would spend my day off practically sleeping. So because of that, I didn't have a great work life and home life balance. I was always tired and always at work. But if you are working, for example, with an agency where you can choose your own shift, you can find a balance or a pattern there that works for you, and you can be home more often. I find as a single person, this doesn't affect you a lot, but I do find for people who are married and for people with kids, because they have children and childcare is freakishly expensive in this country, what they usually do is that one couple minds the kids during the day and the other couple minds the kids during the night. But what that happens is that you're coming from night shift, from being awake the whole night, and you have to mind your child the next day if the child is not going to crash or anything like that. So you're basically trying to sneak in little naps in between. That is honestly if you want to try and cut down on the childcare cost. So you're basically trying to sleep in between, which is not ideal. So I do find that a lot of people who are married and have kids, they do feel the pressure in their marriages because of this, that one, you're not seeing your other half, you're barely seeing your other half. If you're lucky, you're only meeting them once a day. And because of that, that's not really ideal for a marriage. So if you're moving here and you have children, I would really look into this a little bit more. If you have smaller children like toddlers, I would really think about the impact that this would have on your family, because I see a lot of people struggling. The weather. Ireland has a very funny weather. It can be sunshine and rainbows in the morning, and it can be drenching wet later on in the day. Almost every day, especially in the winter time, it's raining. Almost every day. It gets icy cold in the winter time. It can get very windy as well. Even in the summertime, you still have days when you're like, are we in summer? What is this? So the weather isn't the best. If you're coming here from Africa, where God was generous with the sun, you are in for a little surprise, because the sun here is like peekaboo and then it's gone. It's like hello and then it's gone. So yeah, the weather is a problem. And when the winter comes, it gets very dark very early. So around 5-6 p.m. it's already dark, and in the morning sometimes even up to 9 a.m. when it's peak winter time, it's dark at 9 a.m. in the morning. So you're basically waking up in the dark, going to work, staying indoors the whole day, and then coming out and it's dark again. What this does is that it affects your moods, and a lot of people become slightly depressed with the weather. You can take vitamin supplements to try and supplement that lack of sun. I do encourage that you exercise, that you focus on your mental health during the winter time, because girl, I think I have to note this. I think I've mentioned it under the whole work-life balance, that if you're looking for childcare is expensive. You have to pay, if you have a nanny, you have to pay the minimum wage, which is around €10.20 or €10.80 per hour. So this doesn't leave you with much after your salary, once you pay your taxes and once you pay your childcare. There is some government support for families that work that are in place, but what I would also let you know, if you're coming from a family in Africa where you have been lucky enough to have a helper or a maid around the house to help you with household chores, when you come here you may not have that benefit, because like I say, that it is very costly to have a helper or somebody coming to clean your house full time. What other people usually do is that they will find somebody to clean their house once a week or 2 times a week. Ireland is a relatively safe country. Like every other country, there are some bad apples. So if you go to counties like Dublin, in the city center, there are some neighborhoods that are a little bit rough, but in most neighborhoods outside of Dublin, even in some places, most places in Dublin, they are very safe. So you do have that safety. It is a very safe country. That's one thing that's one thing that I have to say. It does have a police presence, which they call the Gardaí or the Garda here. So there is that benefit that you do feel safe. It is a very safe country. It is a country where I have to say your voice is heard. So if something does happen, you have something stolen, you can go to the police, and they do try and take steps to try and investigate further. So what if you're single? What if you're single and ready to mingle? What I think in the modern day world, it has become harder to meet somebody face to face, to meet somebody when you're just walking in the street. You do have to make more of an effort to date. So if you're looking to date, if you're single and you're looking to date, there are bars in Dublin. I know this sounds a little but there are places where you can meet other migrants or other local people as well who are actively dating. So there is that dating culture if you're out to look for it. And there's also dating apps out there as well that you can join and you can mingle. You can also meet people at your workplace. You can join, if you really want to be out there. You also need to take part in other events. Like there is an event called Park Run where you go out on a Saturday and people just run, I think it's 5 kilometers together. This is a great way of meeting other people, of networking as well. So there is a dating culture around, but if you do want to meet that special person, you would need to come out of your comfort zone, come out of your layer and actually go out. In Ireland, we have shops called Aldi and Lidl and Tesco. These are relatively affordable shops if you want to go shopping. We usually shop at Lidl or Aldi. You would get quite a bit of food. I would say for the two of us, me and my husband, we spend around €40 a week on food, but this is because we would have already bought the large dry things already. So things like our washing liquids and stuff like that, we would have already bought in bulk, and things like rice and pasta we would have bought in bulk as well, as they store very well. But if you're looking for things like fresh vegetables and fresh meats, you can get those very cheap at Lidl and Aldi. I have to mention though that if you go to these shops a little later in the evenings, sometimes you can find things on promotion, like the bread they bake that day would be 50% off or something like that. So there is that option as well to go out and look for deals. There is shops like Boots that are great. That's a great pharmacy and a great place to buy hair products. I also get sometimes I actually get African hair products as well. Products for African hair as well there. Tesco is there as well. It's an amazing shop, but it is a little slightly more pricey than your Lidl and your Aldi, but it does have a variety. So from time to time we visit Tesco and we shop there as well. Fashion culture. Ireland doesn't really have a fashion culture. I'll be very honest. I'm sorry. If you're Irish, I'm sorry, but it doesn't really have that high-end luxury fashion culture. Don't be confused. The shops are there. There's an exciting shopping center called Kildare Village. There's Blanchardstown shopping mall. I think it's a shopping mall or a shopping center. But there is places where you can find that high-end fashion. But if you're coming, for example, from South Africa, where there's a diamond walk, and you're looking for that fashion culture, you're looking for that fashion sense, you might not exactly find it here. Here people basically just love to wear jumpers and be warm because of the weather. So yeah guys, that is it with my life in Ireland video. I will do a follow-up video if you guys want to know more. Just pop the questions in the comment section. You guys know I'll always respond, and we can have a little chit chat down there. Many thanks if you've stayed until the end of this video. Thank you very much. And what I would like is that I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. It does my channel a whole lot of good, and if you hit that notification button as well. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.